Welcome back. Today we're looking at a surprising diplomatic development involving the United States and Spain during the latest NATO summit. What began as sharp criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump quickly shifted into a much more positive tone after discussions about Spain's recent military contributions to the alliance. Let's break down what happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for NATO and international relations. What happened? During the NATO summit held in Ankara, tensions briefly emerged between the United States and Spain. President Trump criticized Spain over defense spending and broader disagreements related to the alliance and the conflict involving Iran. His comments were unusually strong, describing Spain as a poor partner and raising the possibility of stopping trade with the country. Those remarks immediately attracted international attention because both nations are longtime NATO allies. A public disagreement between allies at a major security summit can influence diplomacy, financial markets, and global perceptions of alliance unity. A change in tone. Only hours later, the situation appeared to change. While returning to the United States aboard Air Force One, President Trump spoke to reporters again. This time his language was noticeably less confrontational. Although he acknowledged that some disagreements remained, he also praised Spain and said the country had become very generous. According to Spain's government, this change happened after U.S. officials and President Trump were informed about the significant increase in Spain's recent contributions to NATO. This suggested that additional information and discussions during the summit helped reduce tensions between both sides. Why defense spending matters? Defense spending has long been one of the most debated issues within NATO. The alliance encourages member countries to invest more in their own military capabilities so that responsibility for collective defense is shared more evenly. Different governments reach those goals at different speeds depending on their economies, political priorities, and security needs. Because of this, discussions about military budgets regularly become major topics at NATO summits. Spain's position. Spain says it has significantly increased its contributions to NATO in recent years. Those contributions can include higher defense budgets, military personnel, equipment, training missions, intelligence cooperation, and participation in alliance operations. Spanish officials argued that these efforts demonstrated their commitment to NATO and that the country deserved recognition rather than criticism. Why the dispute matters. Even though the disagreement lasted only a short time, it highlights how quickly international diplomacy can change. Statements made by world leaders often influence financial markets, diplomatic relationships, military cooperation, public opinion, future negotiations between allies. Strong criticism can create uncertainty, while later clarification or praise can help calm concerns. Trade concerns. One reason the story received widespread attention was the mention of trade. Trade between allies supports businesses, jobs, tourism, investment, and economic growth. Any suggestion that trade could be interrupted naturally raises questions from companies and investors. Although strong language was used initially, the later comments suggested a less confrontational approach. NATO unity. NATO functions best when member countries cooperate despite disagreements. It is common for allies to debate defense spending, military strategy, and international crises. However, leaders usually attempt to resolve disputes through meetings and negotiations rather than allowing disagreements to grow. This episode illustrates how discussions behind closed doors can quickly change public messaging. International reaction. Observers viewed the rapid shift in rhetoric as an example of diplomacy in action. Some analysts noted that face-to-face conversations during international summits often provide opportunities to explain policies, share updated information, and reduce misunderstandings. Whether this leads to lasting improvements in relations will depend on future cooperation between both governments. What happens next? Several questions remain. Will the United States continue to press allies on defense spending? Will Spain further increase its military contributions? Will the improved tone continue after the summit? How will future NATO meetings address similar disagreements? These are issues that policymakers and international observers will continue watching closely. Final thoughts. The key takeaway from this story is that diplomatic relationships can change very quickly. A disagreement over defense spending led to strong criticism, but after further discussions and recognition of Spain's increased NATO contributions, the public tone became noticeably more positive. The incident also reminds us that NATO remains an alliance where member countries sometimes disagree while continuing to work together on shared security goals. As always, international diplomacy is constantly evolving, and future developments may provide a clearer picture of how this relationship continues to develop. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more international news updates, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think defense spending should play such a major role in relations between NATO allies? We'd love to hear your opinion.